100%.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Reactor. So you got Corey attached. Corey had a relationship with Bruce. You
Yeah.
wrote the script. Then there was a rewrite done by, one more time,
Oh, Cam Cannon.
Cam Cannon. So now you guys sitting pretty solid, but you're like, you're not getting your hopes up. You're like, I'm not going to believe this shit until Bruce, or we're
Yeah.
on set, we're filming when it's happening.
Yeah.
What did the budget landed with Bruce on, with Bruce attached?
I mean,
Do you know what the budget was?
it was pretty decent. I mean, it was, I'll say between, 6 to 10.
Yeah, I heard it was
Kinda
like
like-
somewhere around 7.
Yeah, it kind of landed around. I mean, the thing is, like,
Post and everything.
post deliverables, E&O, and
Language and
Yeah, I
dubbing.
there's so many more. And that's another thing. It's a great. There's one thing to make a movie. It's another to deliver a movie. Delivering people in film school or professor or someone doesn't teach the importance of being able to deliver a movie, because let's say you've made a movie.
Talk about it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does it mean, deliver a movie?
So okay, so let's say you have a movie, it's fully done, color corrected, the sound is designed, you have a link on Vimeo or private YouTube, whatever,
And you can watch it.
and you watch it, and it's like, all right, great, I made this movie, it's complete because I have a link and I can send it to you, and it's in high def and blah 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 and all that, and they're like, great. A distributor or a buyer, sales agent will come to you and say, great, now we would like the movie, now we need this, and they'll email you like a 2-page document of all your deliverables, and that you got to have your ProRes master, which is your movie, and then you also got to have one that has a text to list version. Then you have to deliver your music and effects tracks, and all the and the video and the audio have to pass through QC. So if there's going to be kickbacks, you're going
What's QC?
like quality control. There's people in rooms that you have to pay a lot of money, and a lot of platforms will require it. iTunes and whatever platform is going to ask for a QC report, and many of them will need to do their own QC, and it's expensive, and they'll come back to you with like a 15-page report, and they'll say, there's footsteps at 5 minutes in and 32 seconds, we see someone's feet moving and we don't hear footsteps, and so you'll get that kickback, and then you have to go in there and like add the footsteps, or like the black levels, your luminance is too high here, and then like, so now you got to pay, like, you got to
Get a colorist
to fix it, and it's like, or it's kind of a racket, because a lot of the labs will, like, that's how they make their money, like, is by telling you
all these things you have to do,
and then they'll come at you and be like, well, we could actually do it ourselves here
for cheaper,
for $5,000. And you're like, so sometimes it's better to just pay them if you have a distribution deal and get it fucking delivered. And not only that, and then that's like the tip of the iceberg. You have your chain of title, which is expensive to get, and that's just basically to prove.
Talk about what a chain of title is.
Chain of title is basically like your paper trail of like who, like, because if you sell a script to a producer, and well, it's not really when they're selling, it's really when the movie's getting delivered is when you need your chain of title, and it's basically a legal document, and usually a lot of times scripts will have multiple writers on it, and it'll go through this person, and it'll have they just want to make sure that their chain of title is clean, because that someone.
So what is a chain of title? Talk about that. What is a chain of title?
Chain of title is just a series of legal documents, whatever legal documents of anyone that's ever the history of the script from the
who owns the story.
Who owns the story?
Kind of like a deed to a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Like who owned the house
exactly
prior, who owns it now, who's on the mortgage, who's the lender.
And no producer, that's a real producer, is going to make your movie if You don't have a clean chain of title, and it's important. Let's say you've written a script with your best friend 10 years ago, and now you're not friends with that friend anymore, or whatever. And something happened, and now you have the script, and someone wants to make your movie, and the producer will, well, who else was involved? Because this person, let's say you go and make that movie, this person can come out of the woodwork and say, I wrote that script, it's mine, and I'm going to sue you. So it's really coming from a liability standpoint. To know that.
So clean chain of title means that you have a clean record of everybody who owns the script and who owns the script now.
Yes, exactly. And
then so clean chain of title would mean the producer or the company that's making the movie is owning the script and the rights to the script and nobody else.
Yeah, exactly. It means the rights are good. You know, everyone that at one point was attached to the film, like, is you know, has signed off on it. You know, no one has an option. You didn't take out an option. And I made that mistake. Bad mistake. Which I would recommend, like, because if you're hustling, if you're a screenwriter, you're out there hustling, you're trying to network, a producer will come to you and they'll say, I want to option your script, you know, and you're like, great, I'll sign this piece of paper, and then nothing happens, and then someone's looking for a script. Hey, you got a script? Like, yeah, I got the script. Like, oh, I'll do an option, and then, oh, great, I'll sign the option, and then, like, be careful what you sign. But at the same time, you also have to sign in order for the things to happen. But make sure you don't want to get yourself in trouble optioning a screenplay to two people at the same time. Very bad.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah. It was an error.
Because you optioned it to somebody who said I was going to do something that they didn't, so you optioned it to somebody else who.
I thought the option. I thought it expired because I hadn't looked at it for so long.
You want to just for the audience that doesn't know what an option means on a script, you want to just quickly say.
Oh yeah. So an option
is when you write a script. Is when it's finished and you own it and you get it registered
and a producer comes to you and they say it's usually not the money person themselves, or sometimes it is, but they say, look, I think I can get this movie made. I want you to sign an agreement that basically gives me the rights to go out and
raise money for this movie.
Yeah, raise money or do whatever. I get an actor,
or try to sell the script to a studio or production company.
Exactly. You're giving somebody else the option and the rights, usually the exclusive rights,
for a
period of time, which 6 months to 2 years, wherever, whatever they want for, hopefully some amount of money, but a lot of times for nothing or $1,
or for when the movie gets made, then you get paid.
Exactly. A lot of times, unless it's a big studio, don't expect a big payout for an option.
What's an average time frame for option to give?
I mean,
to a producer, like, hey, I'm going to make your movie.
If I honestly, I would say you don't want to go beyond a year. I mean, a year. If someone says, look, I can get your movie made, you're like, great, I'll give you a year. Like, if you can't, like, but look, if something happens within that year, they'll usually have a condition where they could extend the option,
or you can pull out.
But make sure that the language that you can exit the option at some point cleanly, because the last thing you want to do is option your script and then have a shitty. And here's the thing: so if you sign an option and the option expires, that option is now forever a part of that chain of title. So that document is going to get scrutinized. So you don't want to sign an option with shitty language for you, where it's like you give a producer a year and then the option lapses, but maybe there's some language in there that says, but if so-and-so had any sort of connection to how this movie got made,
they get some money.
And then
it's no longer a clean chain of title.
Yeah, it's no longer a clean chain of title. And now you got a producer that has to deal with this person it's like the skeleton. It's like the skeletons in your closet. So you read those documents carefully, and know that anytime you sign something that you're adding to the chain of title for for the future.
Another thing that's part of this part of delivering your movie is
Oh yeah, there's still even more. Yeah, shit, I didn't even. I was still going on that one.
When especially when you have an actor that's going to bring a lot of foreign sales, they're gonna want to have the movie in different languages.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, for foreign, that's why you need your M&E track, which is all your music and effects, a clean track.
Yeah, of individual
sound. And here's the thing about it: people think, oh, that's easy. We'll just take out the dialogue. A vast majority of your sound effects in your movie happen during the dialogue or over
or layered over.
Yeah. So you have to have a complete M&E for France or whatever territory, any other language.
Can you explain what M&E means?
It's M&E. M&E is it's an audio file.
What is it? Do you know what it stands for? M&E.
Music and effects. And you need to have so that lines up perfectly with the movie. Every single effect. And what makes it hard is because the M&E that track has to be fully filled. So if an actor is, for instance, opening a doorknob or walking or something, and that production audio, that sound effect has to be recreated artificially for this complete M&E, which makes it even harder because it's like
matching.
Exactly, like in the American version, the doorknob sounded like this, but in this version it sounded differently. That's because that sound effect was not coming from production audio. It was created by either a Foley or usually a library.
Library, yeah. You want to talk about? You want to just give a quick what a Foley is?
Foley is a crazy art.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched any videos of or been in the studio where guys creating sounds?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it done.
Why don't you pull up some video on YouTube real quick, Tori, about Foley? Just mute the computer and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. You got guys like beating, scrapping
rubber gloves with rocks and like a big palm leaf and then crumbling it and then you look and it's or footsteps, and
it's incredible. And here's the thing: you could actually, it's like you can get away with so much.
Library.
That too, but I'm saying like just being creative with because nobody knows what the sound is when this thing happens unless it's like a common sound. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of, the audience will.
Yeah, put it on high res.
You want the sound on, right?
Yeah, put the high res. Yeah, it's good. And boost up the audio on the no on the player. In the player of the YouTube.
Okay. Let me just boost.
It's on the left. Yeah, that's good.
People are often puzzled that this isn't all done by computer.
In order to get the right feel of a character, you need to really know how they're feeling.
It's such a crazy art, dude. It's incredible.
Props and recorded precisely for that film.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Credited as Foley artist.
The art of putting sound effects to picture after a film has already been shot.
See that big gust of wind on the right, so I gotta focus on that and get that perfectly, each little flutter happening right there. Now it's cut to a huge close-up. When they shoot a film, the sound is concentrated on the actor's dialogue, so we go back and recreate all these sounds for drama and detail, and just to bring the film to life.
It's amazing.
We perform
All right,
what
Tori.
won't be
Yeah,
cut
thanks,
from a
bud.
sound effects library
Yeah, no,
is
I mean,
live sound
that
effects
is
once the
so
picture's been
fucking
assembled, and
crazy.
hopefully
Do you
when
remember the
watch
first
this
time you walked into a
Visual
Foley
effects
studio and
is
you're watching them
working
do
on
some of
their
these effects,
changes,
and you're like,
we'll be
"What the
getting
fuck
them
is
daily as
happening
they're
here?"
making
Yeah, I mean,
visual effects movies. In
it's
tandem, the
really
sound effects
now.
engineers are
I
in
mean,
their rooms editing sound effects.
But there's so much in
there's so
libraries
many
now.
I mean, there's so many fucking. And here's the thing about a library, like, you can take a sound from a library and manipulate it and make it different from what it is in the
Yeah.
library. So
Yeah.
That's usually reserved for when you have
Bigger
a budget. Yeah.
When you have a budget, yeah.
When you have a budget, because I mean, if you are like, all right, I need footsteps, or I need a horse sound, or a cape.
Yeah.
You know,
Go to library,
go to
$5.
a library. Yeah, exactly.
Go to Foley,
and there's
5,000.
9 million fucking options. Yeah, exactly. So if you can hire a Foley artist,
Good.
I've worked with many sound